the headlines. Summit in a war zone. President Biden makes a surprise visit to Ukraine and reaffirms America's support.
Kyiv stands, and Ukraine stands. Democracy stands. The Americans stand with you, and the world stands with you.
The U.S. Secretary of State repeats his warning to China not to provide weapons and ammunition to Russia. We'll have more on the program on that and other issues on Newsday, including 2 weeks after being struck by catastrophic earthquakes, Turkey is hit by a further deadly tremor. As the body of Nicola Bulley is finally identified, her family criticised sections of the UK media. And real treasure from Cambodia, dating back 1,000 years or more, surfaces in London.
And the medical breakthrough that could help stroke victims regain control of parts of their body. In Brazil, flash floods and landslides in Sao Paulo state. The president flies in as dozens are confirmed dead.
That are making headlines today, starting with the fact that at least 40 people have died in flooding and landslides in Brazil's Sao Paulo state. The president, Inácio Lula da Silva, has visited the city of São Sebastião to see the impact of the storms. He's promised government support and called for unity to help the recovery from the disaster. Rescuers are continuing to search for people still thought to be trapped in the rubble of collapsed buildings. Despite mass protests, Israel's parliament has voted to push ahead with a highly controversial overhaul of the judicial system proposed by Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's religious nationalist government. Tens of thousands gathered in the streets to protest against the plan. The opposition in parliament vowed to fight for what it called the soul of the nation after the bill was approved in a first reading. A government panel in Japan has proposed raising the country's age of consent to 16 as part of a major overhaul of sex crime legislation. It's currently 13, one of the lowest in the world. It follows a string of acquittals in rape cases that triggered nationwide outrage. Under current law, sex with a child who's at least 13 is not considered statutory rape in Japan. Prosecutors have downgraded the involuntary manslaughter charges they brought against the actor Alec Baldwin following a shooting on the set of the movie Rust, which killed the film's cinematographer. They're dropping a so-called firearm enhancement charge, which significantly reduces the maximum sentence from 5 years to 18 months in prison. Alec Baldwin has said the shooting was a tragic accident and that he'd been told the gun was safe to handle.